So I'm hoping we won't be interrupted by my cat this time because he is snug as a bug in a rucksack, apparently. So I'm assuming he's going to just rest there for this entire video. We hope. So today's video we are going to be watching my reading and channel goals for 2020. I'll be commenting on it as we go through, so hopefully if I've edited it properly there'll be like a little box here that you'll be able to see it as we go. If you haven't seen it before, why would you? When I started this I had 11 followers. It has 95 views in a year and 4 likes, so I guess it was a real hit. But yeah, we're just gonna watch and kind of see, did I make it? Did I? That's the question. Time is arbitrary, but I'm a rising Virgo with some goals, so I'm still a rising Virgo with some goals. I'm also a Gemini moon, so that's why the settings are different and we're trying harder now. Time is arbitrary. What was I doing? It's been really nice to see loads of YouTubers kind of laying out their 2020 book goals, and considering I've only been doing this a month, I already have some. I'm already kind of like, after a year of doing this, no one's surprised that after a month I had goals. I have goals for 2025 and my channel where I would like it to be. I'm just not necessarily shouting about them in case they don't make it. So the first lot of goals I want to talk about are specifically my reading goals. So as of 2019 I only read 22 books, which is nothing in comparison to other booktubers out there. But considering up to August, so January to August of 2019, I read 3 books and then did the rest of my list from just August to the end. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Like I've told you before, I had a real issue where I kind of hit a reading slump. I couldn't find anything to kind of keep my interest. I found it really, really hard to read anything without being super hypercritical. So coming into the end of 2019 and finding so many 5-star books that I really, really enjoyed was a win. I'm still hypercritical. What I found is that I just freely DNF now. So if I have an issue with pacing or plot, or I struggle with a certain character for whatever reason, it's rarely characters because I really like character driven books, so it tends to be plot or structure that really will make me DNF something. Or if I think something is just hella problematic, or it just doesn't actually reflect any empathy in the characters, things like that, I will just DNF it. And I found that being ruthless and being critical isn't negating my reading anymore, because like I'm still that person. I'm still highly critical of the books that I read. I've just found more that I enjoy because I'm not wasting my time on books that I don't enjoy anymore, because life's too short. So my target for 2020 is 60 books. 60 books was the goal. I can tell you that, I mean, it's, yeah, 1st of December when I'm recording this, so it will have gone up by the time this goes up because I'm listening to some audiobooks. My current Goodreads is at 118 out of 60 books, which is 196% of my goal, which tells me that I was not realistic in setting this goal. It's interesting to go from 20 to 118. That's a radical change. Like, that's arguably, that's because we're in a pandemic and I have nothing but time to read. But I also think that there is something quite competitive about doing the Goodreads challenge and being part of BookTube that actually has really helped me be more competitive with myself and pushing myself, and like I said, DNFing books I don't enjoy. I think I'd only read 2 graphic novels before I started. I do include audiobooks because it is still reading. I still have to concentrate. I'm just having it told to me as opposed to engaging with it, and sometimes I will read along, so I have counted those. I have listened to more audiobooks this year than I have ever listened to in my entire life combined, so that is another reason why, and I don't see that changing. So as far as my Goodreads goal for next year, it will be much higher. I think it would be ridiculous of me to aim much higher than 100 books, especially because I'm hoping by this point that we will have a vaccine for COVID and therefore we won't need to worry about living in a pandemic and I will actually be able to go out and see people, which would be nice. But I also think that my reading tastes have changed and my ability to read quicker has improved. I am still a slow reader. I wouldn't describe myself as dyslexic because I've never been diagnosed as dyslexic, but sometimes I do struggle with larger vocabulary, although I very much like to say large vocabulary, and I think that can hinder me sometimes. I'm hindered by comprehension sometimes if things are quite dense, so sometimes I need to break those things down, and that always takes time. It's not that I can't do it, it just takes me longer to do, so I think that will also be a factor. But fundamentally, I think my Goodreads goal is probably going to be at least 100 next year, because I can clearly do it, and I am so proud of myself. And I don't want to like over-egg this too much, because I keep posting about it on Twitter and telling everyone how proud of myself I am, but to go from 20 books to 118, pandemic or not, like, that's impressive. The fact that I'm like, oh, you know, I know that's not much compared to other booktubers. I'm now one of those booktubers that hits 100 books, and I am so proud of myself for hitting that goal. And I want to keep going with my Top Trumps TBR. Obviously I have 5 books that I've set myself anyway. The irony though of so few of the books that I read this year being from my Top Trumps TBR, because I just keep abandoning it, which is why we have punishments now, which are duly deserved. And then it kind of like snowballs from there. So if I hit that, I'll be really proud of myself. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's still more reading than I would have done if I wasn't doing YouTube, because to be honest, without YouTube I probably wouldn't have the inclination to keep trying to read, even if I find a book that I don't enjoy. I would also specifically like to say that with regards to my Top Trumps that I'm definitely maintaining for 2020, I've got 3 other reading goals that I want to maintain with that. So with my Top Trump TBR, obviously there are lots of different categories to do with like author and word count and rating that all kind of go into whether they get picked or not each month. But another category I want to add in 2020 is whether they are self-published / indie published or traditionally published books. I would like to make sure that at least 1 book a month that I read is self or indie published. I feel really guilty about this one. I didn't manage to meet this. I have read more indie books than ever before. Since self-publishing my book years and years ago, I know how hard it is to actually self-publish, and I really want to encourage self-published authors. However, I just haven't prioritised it this year, and I do feel bad about it, especially considering I literally specified that as one of my goals was to read at least 1 a month. I think I've read 6 in this entire year, which is that's not good enough. That's 1 every 2 months, so that's not good enough. So we will try again next year with that one, but I'm really sorry, independent authors, especially considering I made a massive list of independent books that I want to get hold of. I just didn't prioritise them. And I don't know if that's just because it wasn't right in front of me when I was sorting out stuff, or if it was just a case of I just got caught up in the hype of other books. The latter is more likely because of who I am, but I am sorry, and I will try better next year. And that's kind of one of my reading goals for this year. I also want to listen to at least 1 audiobook a month, and I want to be borrowing at least 1 book from the library. Well, like I said, I've read 38 audiobooks, so that is definitely more than 1 a month. I think I listened to 11 audiobooks in October and November, some of which were on my TBR, most of which weren't. Now that I've got Scribd and Audible, and the amount of audiobooks that are on YouTube as well, they're just so accessible, and it's just something I can have on in the background whilst I'm working. I really enjoy listening to them, and yeah, definitely hit that target. I haven't been reading as many library books. I did in January and February, and then obviously lockdown happened. We only have a very small library near me, and you have to book in advance the books that you want, and because of how small it is, the ones that I want generally aren't in yet, or just they've already gone by the time I get there. So I haven't been able to read as many library books as I would like, which is a shame because I would like to be able to support libraries. But the upside is, when I've bought books that I then either haven't enjoyed or I've given them 3 stars and unhauled or whatever, I've donated to schools and things. So at least the books that I am buying, I'm then contributing to something else. Not that you don't have to unhaul your books to libraries or schools. That's just what I do, unless they are really trash, in which case I'll throw them in the bin or recycle them, because some of the books I've read this year are just, I wouldn't recommend them to anyone and therefore wouldn't donate them, but that's on me as well. So at least 1 of those I hit. So each of these books that I pull out for my TBR going forward, 3 of them have already been decided, that's what those will be, and then 1, hopefully it will stop me buying more books, 2, it will help me support libraries and independent authors, and 3, maybe it might encourage you guys to read some independent books. Here's how much it didn't stop me buying books. As part of my business, I've actually set up an additional brand called Waypoint Box. where I buy and sell books as an excuse to be able to buy myself more books. I mean, I obviously want to make books more accessible, and the fact that we're in lockdown, like I said, the library is closed, we have one bookshop, and we're a coastal town, so that's ridiculous, but we have lots of little like Christmas markets and things like that, so I want to be taking books to those kinds of markets and getting books that I think need reading out there. So books by authors of colour, disability rep, LGBTQ rep, all these things that young people need to get hold of but aren't readily accessible. That's what I want to be doing, but fundamentally it also means that I get to buy books early and cheaper. I know a lot of them don't get reviewed in the same way that traditionally published books do, and a lot of bookshops will use the fact that no one's heard of these indie books as a reason not to stock them, and I think that's rubbish because I've read some fantastic self-published books. Yeah, on that note, if you have a self-published book and you can't get it into a bookshop, email me. I've put my email below. I would love to read a copy of your book. If I think that your book is worthy of the time of promoting it, I'm happy to do so. I would love to have some self-published books on my website as well. The website is pending, but I would love to have some self-published books on there that aren't just mine, because mine's going on there. So yeah, let me know. I think that'd be great. Okay, moving on to my channel goals. As I've said, I've only been doing this a month. I am a baby, and I have not even reached 100.
Here's what I found on the web.
I forgot Alexa got involved. Oh, it suggested some YouTube goals for me.
Nice.
That's fine though, I've already got some. Okay, so my channel goals are thusly. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So that's nothing in the grand scheme of it, but I'd quite like to celebrate every time I reach another 100 milestone. Didn't hit 1,000 in a year. That was kind of unrealistic, and I think even going into this I knew that was unrealistic, that it was tiny in the grand scheme of things but a big goal to set. I am nearly halfway there. I think I've done pretty well considering, and considering I've not been posting content 3 or 4 times a week like some other YouTubers have that then hit those bigger goals quicker. At the end of the day, this is still a hobby. It's not earning me any money. It's just a facet of something that I like to do, and I've made the most of it. And yeah, maybe it can make me money in the future, but it's still a hobby. And whilst it's still a hobby, I'm not committing as much time to it as I should if I want to grow those numbers. So fundamentally, I know what I could have done better, but that was never the point of this. This was never an exercise in how quickly can I hit 1,000. It was like, if I hit 1,000, I'll be really proud of myself. But fundamentally, I have tried my best to celebrate every time I've hit a milestone. So for 100 and 200, I did a giveaway. Those were really difficult because actually, like, the first time I did it, I was just really... I've got cat hair in my mouth now. The first 100 that I celebrated was, I just walked into Sainsbury's, I bought 3 Amazon gift cards and then said I was doing a giveaway, and people that got involved with the giveaway and ended up winning, like it was just a raffle kind of thing, ended up being people that don't even support me, don't even subscribe to me, aren't even really that involved. So that was a mistake and something I will learn from next time, that I'm not really, like, the whole point is I'm meant to be celebrating you for watching me, and I'm just giving away gift cards to randoms. And one girl was properly rude to me about it as well, so that was a lesson learnt. The second time I did a kind of bingo board of books so that I knew the people who were engaging with it were actually supporters of mine. That made a massive difference, and that the people that won it deserved to win it in my opinion, so I was happy for that one. But then for 300, it was voted that instead of having a giveaway, you would rather see me embarrass myself. So I was meant to do a ballet video, which I still haven't done. I will do it. I know I will do it because there's so many people that will just not let me forget that that is something that I agreed to do. So it will happen. I just have not been able to find a leotard in Excel. So once I've done that, and I'm gonna do the whole thing, I want to do tutu, leotard. I might even try and get myself some points, even though I have never done point. Like, I never did point. When I did ballet as a kid and I danced at the West End, it was all flat. Like, I never did any point work, but I think it would be hilarious to watch me break my legs. So that's something we want to do. And then for 400, again, you guys wanted me to embarrass myself, and I've got a whole list of challenges that I need to do. I just haven't had time to film it, so I am really, really sorry. Those videos are coming, but guaranteed I will have hit 500 before I actually get around to doing those. So at 500, I would just do another giveaway because it's just easier to organise. But Thank you, fundamentally, for being here and for supporting me and watching my content. It really means a lot to me because, like I said, I thought this was just going to be a dumb channel that no one was going to pay attention to. And to host an entire readathon, it wasn't even a goal of mine, but to host a readathon that so many people engaged with and so many people made content with and got people into a genre that I absolutely love, but is definitely a niche. Oh, that was so exciting and so much fun. So big thank you to you guys, and especially to like the other YouTubers who are the kind of vets of the game, who kind of took me under their wing and even just kind of supporting me, shouting me out, giving me hints and tips on editing and framing and lighting and what books I should be talking about or what books I shouldn't be talking about, and having those conversations with me when you don't know me and you don't know anything about why I'm doing this other than what you see on camera or what we've discussed over the internet. Like, there are some massive names on this platform that have just done nothing but support me. I don't want to name drop because that kind of defeats the point, but massive thank you to those people for even just noticing me. It has made a massive difference. You've really welcomed me, and yeah, big thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to start the trend of buying people books because then I'd feel guilty about who I bought books for and who I didn't. I didn't want to ask people to buy me books, but I just thought it'd be some Christmas cheer to spread with people, and actually I think that is something I'd quite like to do again. Yeah, I still have those opinions, so I love buying people books, and I was lucky that when I started this I had the capacity that I could buy books for people as and when I wanted. I still do, but just not to the same extent. I'm not made of money, but I do have a salary and I can support my own book buying habit. So I always feel really guilty whenever I say, oh yeah, like, are you gonna buy me a book? I know love language has been like a real thing this year that people have been discussing. Giving gifts and receiving gifts is a massive part of mine, but I always feel inherently guilty if I say, here's my list, buy me a book. I have no problem with other people doing that. Like, I think fundamentally that's down to you. It's just my own psychopathy that kind of won't let me, I guess. Is it psychopathy or psychology? No, because psychology would be the study of it. It's just my own psychopathy that won't really allow me to ask that of people, because I understand that not everyone earns a living wage, let alone anything else. So yeah, I will continue not to ask. I have gifted quite a few people books this Christmas because I have been able to distinguish those that are friends of mine versus those that aren't, I guess. Those that are acquaintances and things like that. So I won't be jumping on any here's your Christmas wish list threads or anything like that. And I won't be buying books for people who ask that of me, but there are some people that have been really important to me this year that I want to thank, and I say thank you best with gifts. That is how I like to do it. I think it's the least you deserve for putting up with me. Thank you for supporting me, because this channel is whatever I want it to be, and most of the time that's hot garbage because it makes me laugh. It's still hot garbage. I want to talk about rather than hyped books or anything like that. So the fact that you're still here and you're still supporting me, I really appreciate that. And if that's going to continue to grow because I put more effort into this, then I feel like you should also be rewarded for that. I can't monetize any of my videos until I hit 1,000 subscribers anyway. I don't look to monetize. This is a hobby for me, but it's something that actually it ties in with my business, and it's something that I just really enjoy doing. So I still don't plan on monetizing it even if I hit 1,000 subscribers. I think fundamentally the ads and things like that are just one of many ways that you can make money from YouTube. Like I said, now that I've set up Waypoint, there is capacity there to grow that alongside my channel, which would be great. I want to be able to sell the books that I recommend and actually make money from those rather than have affiliate links to Book Depository or Amazon. I don't really want to support those anymore. I still have an Amazon wishlist because it's super convenient, but that's really the only reason. I want to minimize the amount that I use Amazon, encourage buying local. So I don't plan on monetizing the videos as such, but then if you want to, but I do plan on essentially monetizing my opinion and selling the books that I recommend. So I do think there is a distinction. No shade to anyone who does monetize their videos. I've seen a lot of people complain about the amount of ads on bigger videos, but fundamentally we've got to earn a living, so you keep doing what you're doing. I will continue to watch your content, and I will continue to let those ads play, even though there are only so many times I can watch a Google advert about a phone that I can't afford. But I'll do it because that's what, 3p to you. It's the least I can do to contribute. Something to do with the actual videos that I want to make this year. I would love to start making essay style videos talking about literature. I also want to do some kind of comparisons with certain books. So thinking along the lines of drunken history, but about books, things like that. Yeah, I didn't do that. I was going to do a kind of drunken history, like a drunken literature thing, and then I found a whole bunch of podcasts that are already that, and then just binged a whole bunch of them and was like, this content is great. I'm never going to top this content. Let's continue making content that I want to make in the time that I have to make it. Those video essays take a lot of time to like structure, and I would like to do them in the future, but it just hasn't been possible this year, and I don't know how possible it's going to be next year either. But yeah, that didn't happen. Another channel thing that I would like to do is, I haven't ever vlogged. That is not something that I've ever been very good at. My camera lives on its tripod and just stays over there, and I quite like the distance between us. But actually I'd quite like to start doing like 24-hour vlogs, maybe, of doing like my weekend. My 24-hour vlogs are the worst videos I've ever put out. I hated making them. I hated editing them. Vlogs are not my thing, but I'm going to continue trying to make them. There are some vlogs that I watch that are just so aesthetically pleasing and so beautifully done. And then there's mine. And they're hot garbage. And the music is too loud, and it's just a lot of me sitting and reading and then whinging about the books that I'm reading because I don't really enjoy them, or I do enjoy them, but I would have rather have taken my time. There is that Eat, Sleep, Read vlog, which I quite liked, but that was a sponsored one, so I put way more effort into that because I had been paid to do so. So vlogs are not my thing, but I have said that every time I hit a punishment, I am going to do a reading vlog so that you can see that I'm actually committing to doing that. But they're not my thing, and I think that's absolutely fine. I think everyone is going to have content that they enjoy making and others are not. You're going to have absolute powerhouses like Cody's Book Corner and Gavin and Becca who can do it all. They can do the sit in front of the camera and give you a list of recommendations. They can do the tags and challenges when they want to. They can do the vlogs, and they are stunning and they are engaging. And then you have trolls like me who would be much more comfortable just sat here on my pillow in my bedroom, chilling out and talking to you about books. And that is absolutely fine. That's why you're here for this content. So if you want vlog content, I'm not your girl. Except occasionally I am your girl, so long as what you want is hot garbage. If you want hot garbage, I'm still the troll for you. For the first time ever, I finished a book in a day the other day, and I'm 27 years old, and that should not be something that I'm really proud of, but it is. I have a very short attention span. I still have a really short attention span, in case you were wondering. And then I'll read for a couple of hours, and then I'll need to go for a walk, or I'll need to go for a swim, or to the gym, or whatever. I need to do something active, and then I just get distracted and my day kind of falls away, and then I've got half an hour that I cram in before I go to sleep. And then, yeah, there are loads of really pretty places to read around here. We've got hills and beaches and all sorts of things. I still want to do a whole bunch of videos where I just go somewhere scenic near me and read, and just do a read with me at the beach, or read with me up the hills and things like that. But the weather has been awful, so I haven't done those yet. And lockdown, when the weather was good, and because we're a coastal town, so obviously during the summer when we should have all been still isolating, everyone went to the beach. But with the business, things that I can tell you are coming up are, we are looking to increase our client base. So if you know anyone who needs any social media help, coaching or strategies, or just have the content written and they'll do it themselves, then please give them my details. You can really tell that at this point I have been doing 2 straight years of networking, because that is my spiel. If anyone needs any social media work, message me down below. That's not even like a YouTube handle, that's literally, I'm looking for clients that do this. My ideal referral is this, and that hasn't changed. I am still trying to grow my business. Obviously, again, pandemic made that a little bit tricky, but we've done quite well this year. The business has grown. We've made a profit. Considering we're in a pandemic, I'm taking that as a win. What have I done with my hair? Let's put the fringe back where it belongs. Yes, so yeah, it's been an interesting year. I know it's been really, really hard for some people. We've taken on a lot of trades who are key workers, so therefore we're still needing content and things like that. But we did lose a large majority of the clients that we already had. Thank you. And as if by magic, she's got tea now. So yeah, we have been able to maintain the business, but I still want to grow it. I still want to be doing that. I want to be doing longer form content, helping people with their books and beta reading and editing, as well as the social media, because social media can get quite monotonous, but I still enjoy what I do, and I still enjoy the fact that I have an eclectic mix of clients. So that is definitely a win. Another business thing we're looking to do is a writer's subscription box. So obviously a lot of booktubers will do unboxings of reading boxes that have books and bookish gifts and things like that. And I wanted to make one that is very specifically for writers. The Waypoint subscription box is coming in 2021. This year has definitely been a year of reflection and kind of working out what I want the box to be. I did have a slight setback earlier in the year in that I had been discussing with someone the idea of doing like a workbook for writers, and then she went and made a workbook for writers. So there was a slight setback in what I thought was going to be happening and then didn't. I've sourced the materials, I know what I want it to look like, I know what I want it to be. It now just comes down to making it and promoting it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So the Waypoint box is essentially going to be for hobbyist writers. It's going to have engaging writing prompts, tips and advice, and books and things that you can read that kind of show you how to do that and what a good version of that looks like. So for example, if you're looking for a book with great dialogue, then that's what will be included, and then we'll show you how to develop your dialogue, all sorts of things. But the idea being that there is capacity there for you to grow, but it's not the full masters or course or whatever. You're not going to get your work fed back on or anything. It's purely for that hobby of, I really enjoy writing and actually I think this will develop me in a way. Or maybe you just haven't thought about doing your writing in that particular way. Changing it from first person to third. Little things like that that can make a massive difference to your writing. That is in the works. You can expect to see that in 2021, and I'm really excited about it. I'm also hella nervous about it. This is the first time I've even mentioned it online. So hopefully I don't mess it up. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to actually have something actionable for that subscription box. It wasn't ready, and I would want to make sure that if I put a product out, it is actually worth the time that I've put into it for the person who's going to enjoy it. And it wasn't ready. So 2021 subscription box. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm excited. And then the last thing is really, really exciting for me. I am self-publishing a love story anthology. If you've watched my Netflix video, you'll know that I'm not a massive fan of romance. So I love that I gave that so much shade to romance, considering how many romances I've read this year. Turns out I don't hate romance, I just hate a very particular type of commercial romance. So with that in mind, yes, Fat Lip was launched in March. We were meant to have a proper massive book launch. My mum bought balloons and she was going to get like Hollywood lights to say Fat Lip outside the venue and all kinds of stuff like that. And then Corona happened! So it was actually 6 of us in my living room drinking champagne. It was very chilled. I very much enjoyed it. And actually it was much, much bigger than I expected it to be. It was just meant to be an anthology that I could show people, show clients, this is what I can do, these are different styles of the way I can write, variety, and the quality of the book. I don't mean texture, the quality of the writing and the quality of the resources that I have. So that was really, really cool. So yeah, I'm very excited to say that yeah, I sold the anthology, it did really well, and I'm selling a romance novel in April of next year. I'm sipping tea for the tea that I splashed everywhere coming for romance last time, because that was silly of me. So I will be starting a series of 5 novels. The first one will be available in April. It will be a YA rom-com. It's meant to be funny, but it's taking out all the stuff that I don't like about romance books, the things that I find frustrating, to make a romance that I would want to read. So if you're a, you know, grumpy old lady like me who doesn't massively fancy romance because of those cliches, you should really enjoy this. I hope. But I'll put the Goodreads link below so you can have a check of that out. And yeah, that's my 2020 goals. If you're wondering why my hair's a mess and I'm wearing a hoodie and gym wear, I was fully intending to be like everyone else, their 2020 goals of like, I'm gonna lose weight and I'm gonna go to the gym. And then I looked at the app that my gym is attached to, and there were way too many people at the gym, and my social anxiety was like, absolutely not. So I might try again in a bit. But for now, gonna stick with my reading goals, crack on with my TBR, and just enjoy my 2020. So yeah, still haven't gone to the gym, can't go to the gym, COVID. It's been a great excuse for a lot of really bad habits that I've picked up this year, like abandoning work to do YouTube videos, that sort of thing. But yeah, for the most part, I managed to hit nearly all of my goals. Didn't hit all of my goals, but when do we ever? You set a whole bunch of goals just to ignore some of them, right? That's how a to-do list work. We'll be more realistic with our goals next year, I think, but we'll probably also have some extra crazy goals, because why the hell not? I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've liked and subscribed and decided that this crazy journey that I'm on my YouTube channel is worth supporting, because I think so. I think it's worth giving it that little like, and if you've made it this far in this hella long video, I really appreciate you. Leave a little comment at the end just to say that you got at the end. Let's put an emoji that no one ever uses, like the octopus. Put an octopus at the bottom if you've made it this far. And other than that, I hope you have a nice day.